Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead. We are focusing once again on meals in a jar, and today we're going to be doing chicken pot pie. It is a mix that looks exactly like this. This one was canned in September of 21, so it is almost 5 years old. And we're going to have this one for our supper tonight when I show you how to turn this into a chicken pot pie with 2 easy steps. So this is another tested recipe from the Ball Blue Book. It is in the same area that our other one was that we did, the chicken chili verde. This one is this part right here. And in this book, it is called Chicken and Gravy Dinner in a Jar. Now, it is a tested recipe. Now, I am doing one thing that is a little bit different. I am not using quite as much chicken. It calls for 1 pound of chicken per jar. I think that is too much, so I am decreasing. I'm putting in 14 ounces of chicken per jar instead of 16. It's just a little decrease. I rarely put a full pound of meat in a meal in a jar. We just don't need that much protein. But of course, you all can make that decision for yourself. The one thing that I'm doing that is just a bit different, but it is going to be okay, is that I am adding carrots to this recipe. Also in this book is a recipe for chicken pot pie for 2. It has lots more ingredients than this, including mushrooms and a lot of other things, but it only allows you to can it in pints. I do not want to do pints, but I'm leaving out all the extra special stuff, and I'm using the tested recipe with just the addition of carrots, it is just fine because carrots, as we know, can be completely pressure canned all by themselves in a jar of their own. And that is one of the criteria that USDA makes when we are doing a few little adjustments to things. Because the recipe is copyrighted in this book, I can't provide you with a printed copy, but I'm going to be speaking the ingredients distinctly. There are very few ingredients. I think it has 6 ingredients that you could just very quickly jot down. And I'm going to give you the ingredients in a per jar amount. So how much chicken per jar, how much potatoes per jar, and so forth. So that just get a little notepad and you can jot it down if you're interested in doing this. So the first thing that I want to do is get my chicken over here. And I am going to be putting the chicken in using my weight. And it is ounces, and that's exactly what I want. I'm now going to zero it out again. And we're going to be putting 14 ounces of chicken in the bottom of the jar. Now, one thing about doing it this way, this is a raw pack. The meat goes in here raw. What they want you to do is to add all of these ingredients in a big bowl and mix them all together and then put them in the jar. That would be one way to do it. I take issue with that because whenever I do that, I don't get an even distribution of the ingredients. And so I like to put ingredients in just like this, one ingredient at a time, so that I can be sure of even distribution. Okay, so on your notepads, up to 1 pound of chicken is what we want. So I'm starting with the potatoes, and when I diced these earlier today, and I did use my Vidalia on everything but the carrots, and the Vidalia has a very cool, this is celery in here, has very cool measurement on the side that I can look and see that I've got 2 cups of celery in here, and then 2 cups of everything, because everything here is a 1/2 cup of each of these. So I'm going to get rid of this now that I'm not touching the meat anymore. So potatoes go in, 1/2 cup, 1/2 cup of carrots, 1/2 cup of onions, we're going to do 1/2 cup of celery. So, a half a cup of each of these veggies. Now we're going to be putting in the salt and the pepper. So we're going to be putting in 1 teaspoon of salt across the board. 1, 2, 3, 4. Half a teaspoon of pepper. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And a teaspoon of poultry seasoning. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all there is to it. So how quick is that? Once you prep the veggies, and it really didn't take me long to prep the veggies, maybe a half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour this morning. Using that Vidalia chopper just saves me so much time. I'm so glad. I've only had that thing maybe 4 months, but it is already one of my very favorite kitchen gadgets. So next we're going to get set up to get the chicken broth in the jars. I made our chicken broth this morning using Knorr bouillon powder. And so to me, that's the easiest thing. We're going to just pour this boiling broth in on top of these veggies and the meat. The broth is helping the spices go down to the bottom. So let's start getting rid of the air. All right, next we have a vinegar dampened paper towel that we're going to be wiping the rims with. The reason for the vinegar is that we've canned meat, which has oil associated with it, and we don't want anything interfering with our lids so that they can have a proper seal. Okay, I'm going to take just a little bit more out of this one. That's better. Okay, lids on, rings on, finger tight. Okay, we're doing a small batch today outside on the patio in my big canner, and we just recently did a small batch, so this will give you an opportunity to see how you can underfill your canner. As long as you have 4 jars in there, it's just fine. A lot of people need to bring it up to 7, so they put extra jars of water in, and if you want to do that, that does not cause a problem at all, but I just like to do the 4 jars, so we're going to do that. Now, I have 2 more unopened ones out, and as you know, we have been going through our food storage looking for holes in our food storage, especially with our meals in jars, because we want to have a full store of meals in jars as we prepare for these uncertain times in which we live. So come with us outside. I'll see you out there in just a moment. Last one going in. Jim will come up and show you up close what it looks like on the inside of the canner. There we go. All right, that's on. Our weight is here ready to go. I had checked everything, so we know that the safety checks were done before we came out here. I'm now going to turn this up to about medium, which is going to generate a lot more steam. Once we get a full stream of steam issuing from this vent, we'll time it for 10 minutes. That tells us that all of the air on the inside of the canner has been expelled and replaced by steam, after which time we will then put the weight on to hold the steam inside, and then the needle will start moving up. For our elevation, the pounds per square inch PSI pressure is 13. So we keep it between 13 and 15. It has to stay above the minimum given to us. It's okay if it goes over, but if it goes under, if the pressure drops, then we have to start the timing all over again. Once it gets up to pressure, these will go for an hour and a half, for 90 minutes. and then we will bring you back when we are taking them out of the canner. So we'll see you in a while. Well, we are ready to go. Pressure is down to 0, the airlock has dropped, and no pressure. So we're ready to open it up. It's been sitting out here done for about 5 minutes, which is a good thing. You want to let the canner sit for an extra 5 minutes or so. Looks like we have had a little bit of siphoning. I don't think it's very bad. Beautiful. Anytime we do chicken, it has that spider webby stuff in it. To be expected. Okay. So, we will take these into the kitchen and put them on the rack and let them sit for the rest of the day. Meanwhile, we will be back when we're ready to fix supper tonight using the other jar that I brought in from our food storage this morning. Same kind of thing, and we're going to make chicken pot pie, so see you then. All right, it's just nearly time for dinner, so there are 2 things we have to do before we get this pot pie in the oven, and we're going to do them right now. First of all, this mix, just as it comes out of the jar, can be used for a variety of things. You can make the gravy and just serve the whole thing, heat up the whole thing with the gravy and serve it over mashed potatoes. You can serve it as a chicken stew. You can serve it as chicken and dumplings. There are 4 jars right here. They're cooling and every one of them has popped, so they're going to be washed in the morning and put out on the shelf labeled. And we'll have those with the other 2 that are out there, and that'll give us a 6-month supply because we have this about once a month. But I cut the vegetables specifically aiming for pot pie because I like the vegetables a little bit smaller. And so you can take a recipe. This one is called chicken and gravy dinner in the cookbook, but we're not using it for a chicken and gravy dinner. I've mentioned several things that we could use it for. It's a great recipe and it's very versatile. So the first thing that we're going to do is open it up, give it the smell test. Good, and I'm going to pour a little bit of the liquid right into this bowl, and I'm going to pour the rest of the solids in here. It just smells wonderful. Okay, now I'm going to show you what that looks like.
Okay.
Now, I am going to take a little bit of this cornstarch and make a slurry. And I'm just going to add it right now. If you're not experienced with making a slurry like that, you may want to go light with the cornstarch and then do it gradually, but this should be just fine. So I am now going to take this off camera over to the burner and heat it up until the gravy is formed with the cornstarch slurry, and we'll be right back and I will show you what it looks like when we get it done. One of the versatility aspects of this recipe is that you can always add things after you've opened up the jar that you would not want to put in the jar when it is canning. And so I just have a few little frozen peas left in my freezer, I just remembered. And so I'm just going to toss them right in. I would never want to can these. I don't can peas. They just turn out too mushy for me. But to put them in right now, they would retain the qualities that I like about peas. So these are going to go in.
Okay, you're on.
So this is what it looks like now. It has lovely gravy. The peas have given it a pop of color. And I'm just going to put it right down in this cast iron. It's actually a lid to a saucepan, but doubles as a frying pan, a skillet, and so it holds just over a quart, which is perfect for what we want. So I'm spreading the ingredients around. And the last thing we have to do before we get it in the oven now is do the crust. Oh, it's not hot. I acted like it was, but it wasn't. This is the easiest crust in the world to do. This is a puff pastry piece of dough. And so I have lots of puff pastry in our food storage because I love puff pastry. And I make good pie crust, and I could certainly do that. You can too, but I also like quick and easy. And sometimes a puff pastry is just the perfect thing. So I'm going to put more flour underneath it and roll it out just a little bit.
And you're doing this because,
Cutting off the edges, just like you would a regular pie. Trimming the crust. To a regular crust, I'm just going to get a fork and fork the edges. This will be the easiest. Going to put some little vent holes in. And we're going to give it an egg wash. All right, in the oven it goes for 20 to 25 minutes until the crust is golden brown. So we will be back and show you what's for dinner. Well, we have come to the end of a very productive day. We've had lots of projects going on today. Everything was successful, and so it is time for us to just sit down and have some supper and relax for the rest of the evening. So we have the perfect dish for doing that. Look at this, just out of the oven. It just turned out so beautiful with that puff pastry, and how easy it was just to pop that crust right on there. So I'm going to dish this up some. Now this will do 2 meals for us. I love cooking so that I get at least 2 meals out of every time I spend cooking. It is savings on fuel, on power. It's a savings on my time. And so this is just great. So this little pie will feed us for 2 meals. I'm really glad I thought to add the peas in. The gravy turned out just perfect. So let's have a little taste. Oh, I can taste the poultry seasoning. It's really, really good. The gravy is just the right consistency. Everything tastes just great. That crust is fantastic. This will be just a lovely supper for us. So I hope you try this. It is an easy project to do the canning, and you can make as many quarts as you want to because I gave you the per quart recipe, and so it should be a fairly easy thing for you to adjust it to your own needs and the amount that you want. So thank you so much for being with us, and another meal in a jar that we can add to our food storage. We will see you soon for more videos.